What's going on, YouTube? It's Big Larry with 5 Out Productions. On episode 3, we're going to be talking about the Phoenix Suns and what should they do this offseason. Should they keep Kevin Durant, move him? All that to be decided today. So to go back on the Phoenix Suns at the moment, we're looking at the team right now. This past trade deadline, they couldn't move Bradley Beal. He was on a 4-year, $50 million each year contract, and he also has a no trade clause, which means if a team wants to trade him, the team he's playing for, if they decide to trade him, he has to approve and agree to the trade. So for example, if they want to trade Bradley Beal to the Charlotte Hornets, and Bradley Beal says no, they can't do it. If they want to trade him to the Heat, and Bradley Beal says yes, then it's done. But Bradley Beal has to consent to the trade before he gets moved. That's what a no trade clause is. And that's what he has. So this past trade deadline, they're trying to get Booker and KD some more help. They had a great offseason acquiring Tyus Jones, Mason Plumlee, Monte Morris for the minimum contract. And they were able to improve their point guard rotation as well as their center rotation. Problem is all three of them are on expiring contracts this offseason, so they can decide to move, especially if they're offering more money from a different team. How did the Phoenix Suns get in this situation? I think it was back to that Bradley Beal trade. When they traded him with the no trade clause, the huge contract, he wasn't a player that matched that contract. The money he's getting paid right now, his talent does not match up to that. And additionally, Bradley Beal is a shooting guard. Devin Booker is a shooting guard. Why would you draft a player that plays the same position as your star player? Especially when Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are not the best when they play the small forward position. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are a little too small to play the small forward. When they have the bigger wings in the league, like a Tatum or Kawhi, it's going to be a tough matchup for them. So it's not a good move on that end of the court. We talk about point guard position. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, they have playmaking skills. Definitely pretty impressive for their given two guard position. But it's not enough to make me at least feel comfortable going into a championship series with Booker or Bradley Beal at my point guard position. Their best and their prime position is the shooting guard spot. The Phoenix Suns tried to make a deal. They put Kevin Durant on the trade block. A lot of their assets are gone because of the Kevin Durant trade. They traded a lot of first-round picks, capital, and they also moved on from Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Majority of their assets were gone in that Kevin Durant trade. And with the new CBA being in place this season, the Phoenix Suns do not have the ability to aggregate players to make a trade. It has to be a one-for-one trade. So the only tradable player this offseason, this trade deadline, was honestly Bradley Beal. To make a one-for-one move, they're bringing a superstar or bringing in a few talented role players to this roster. So just to recap that, Phoenix Suns cannot aggregate players. So if they make a trade, they only trade like one person, one player to max contracts. They can't trade two players to max contracts. So for example, Jimmy Butler makes $48 million. Bradley Beal makes $50 million right now. They can make that trade happen. $2 million, that shouldn't be a big deal. They can probably make that happen. But if they wanted to trade Grayson Allen and Yusuf Nurkic for who makes $30 million in the league? Brandon Ingram. They can't do that because they're putting two players together to match the contract. It has to be one player. They can receive two players in return for one player, but they have to be giving out one player. So with that, and on top of that, Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, which I mentioned before. He has to approve the trade for him to actually get traded. So with those two scenarios being in play, it was impossible to find the correct suitor to trade Bradley Beal to get either another star player in return or even just talented role players in return. The only option they had left was to trade their next asset, is Kevin Durant. This team obviously is not a championship contender team at all without Kevin Durant on the team. But with the pickle that they put themselves in, the hole that they dug for themselves, the last thing they had to do, the only option they really have is to move Kevin Durant this offseason. Kevin Durant's averaging 27 points right now on 53% from the field, 40% from three, shooting lights out right now, having a fantastic season, very efficient. I don't think any team's gonna have I don't think Suns are gonna have a problem moving on from Kevin Durant and finding a correct trade target for him. I feel like there's plenty of teams that will take his services and talent in order to maximize their championship window with Kevin Durant. The biggest issue I see at the moment right now is Bradley Beal being on a contract for 2 more seasons, them not being able to really make a retool this roster, even with Kevin Durant being moved. I'm not sure if they're going to get enough assets to kind of really build and retool a team around Devin Booker. Hopefully I'm wrong and they can make that happen. But just to note, those point guards I mentioned earlier, Tyus Jones, Monte Morris, who's been a great improvement in their point guard rotation, they're expiring this offseason. They can get picked up by another team if another team has more money to offer. And a better situation, it's all up to Tyus Jones, but if he gets offered $8 million compared to that $2 million that Suns can offer him, I'd be surprised if he doesn't go $8 million to a playoff team. Same can be said for Monte Morris. Same can be said for Mason Plumlee. All free agents. They might get a better offer somewhere else. Mason Plumlee has been pretty good with the Phoenix Suns this season as a backup big. Some team might see that value and offer him more money. Monte Morris, backup point guard. A team might see his value, what he did in Phoenix this year, and give him more money, and that will cause Monte Morris to leave. Kevin Durant getting traded this offseason seems inevitable. It's the only move that the Phoenix Suns can do this offseason in order to kind of replenish their team. After losing all the draft capital from the Kevin Durant trade in the first place, as well as in the Bradley Beal trade, which was a terrible move. I gotta say it again. Terrible, terrible move from the Phoenix Suns. Terrible contract that he has, and he's not the best fit with this two-man game of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker because he plays a two-guard spot, which Devin Booker plays as well. So that's my opinion on it. Kevin Durant has to be moved. That's the only way I can... What the hell? Kevin Durant has to be moved this offseason. It's the only way I see the Phoenix Suns being able to replenish what they lost with the trades that they made and hopefully retool this roster in a few years to fit better with Devin Booker. Devin Booker's not the youngest guy in the world. He is 28, which is kind of that peak age for being in your prime. So hopefully they're able to maximize his window before he gets older and not able to do what he's doing right now. You know, he's having a little bit of a downer season in my opinion. 45% shooting, 33% from three, 26 points. He has some room to increase those percentages. Not having the best season ever, but that's Devin Booker. I'm sure this is not going to be a long-standing situation and problem with Devin Booker. He's trying to pick that right back up when Kevin Durant leaves the team and he has more shots available to him. Hopefully he needs the spacing that he needs as well. Hopefully Phoenix Suns were able to trade Kevin Durant for some spacing that he can utilize, some defense that he can utilize, and hopefully get a point guard that's not expiring and get a point guard on a nice little contract to start and pass the ball to Devin Booker, give him that playmaking resource that he's been missing. So that's mostly what I have to say for the Phoenix Suns. I'll also talk about the Jusuf Nurkic trade. They moved Jusuf Nurkic as well as some capital over to Charlotte Hornets. In exchange, they got Nick Richards, who's been an amazing backup big this season. That was a fantastic move by them as well. Jusuf Nurkic was not playing good at all. So them being able to acquire an upgrade at that 5 position, props to them, bravo to them. But Nick Richards is not enough. He's not a starting caliber playoff teams, contender, championship team at all. You need to make another move to really maximize that center rotation. But as of now, he's been pretty solid for them. I'm just not confident that he can be a starting caliber center on a championship roster, in my opinion. Also want to give some shout out to Ryan Dunn, younger player. He's kind of been put at the 3 spot to start as a small forward for the Phoenix Suns. He's been amazing, showing surprises on the defensive end of the ball, having some offense that needs to be developed, but he's working on that. Hopefully he can be a valuable piece as well in the future, or even a valuable piece to keep to play with Devin Booker. So that's my opinion on the Phoenix Suns. I think Kevin Durant getting traded has to happen in order to kind of bring this team back to life, back to reality. And yeah, that's my opinion, man. Thank you all for watching. It's been about 10 minutes. Gotta get my YouTube ads. I don't got ads yet, man. We waiting on it. But thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Show some support. Share with your friends. Anything you feel that you want to do. I appreciate all the support. Big Larry out.